Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video, the first of 2021. I didn't do a lot of videos in December because it was Christmas holidays and wanted to enjoy them, and then I got sick over the Christmas holidays, so then couldn't. But there's a few stories in December that I haven't done videos about that I think you might be interested in if you follow this channel. So we're going to get into them today. We're going to play catch up over the next few videos until we get back in a more current and pressing topics. But what I want to talk about today is one of the topics that fascinates me and I think is super important for the future development of esports, depending on how hard the collapse is, and that is the Overwatch League. And finally, it seems we're starting to get some kind of accurate reporting going out into the public domain, courtesy of the Esports Observer, who I think do great work by and large, in terms of, yes, it's having problems, and they're now changing policy to try and maintain relationships with the people that have invested a lot of money to try and make this failing league a big success. I'll just bring you up to date with what happened in November. Again, reported in the Esports Observer, but there'd been rumors of this swirling around for a while that the Immortals Gaming Club, now the Immortals Gaming Club group, they haven't been particularly successful themselves, I would say, across esports, a number of very dodgy decisions, but their franchise in Overwatch is the Los Angeles Valiant. Now, they were one of the original groups, one of the original VC groups to kind of invest and launch with the league. Well, there were rumors going around that they're looking to sell. And actually, that rumor sort of landed publicly. At the same time, there were numerous other groups. Now, just to make it clear, 2020 was awful for the Overwatch League. It was awful for everyone in esports. But it was awful particularly for the Overwatch League because they'd sort of had 2 seasons of trying to grow, all towards the purpose of having these live events, these homestand events that were meant to start bringing in the money, bringing in the merchandise. Ooh, look, we've done regional esports. Ooh, look, we got a regional fan base that are going to turn up to our home stadiums that Activision Blizzard has made us buy or lease. And now all the money's going to rain down. And, of course, the model simply cannot work, simply will not work. And in a fucking global pandemic, simply did not work because public events, obviously, aren't happening anymore. So this was a crushing blow. And keep in mind, it's the 3rd year of the Overwatch League, and people aren't seeing a lot of returns. There's a lot of disgruntled owners, a lot of people who think they've been sold a lemon. And hilariously, what makes it even worse is a lot of these groups that are like wanting to sell their Overwatch League franchise, they're involved in Call of Duty, which by contrast has been a massive success and has exceeded expectations. So people are looking at offload. It's simply too much to run both, and with one failing so hard and one succeeding, but even in that success, there's not necessarily a lot of profit. People wanted to get rid of their franchises. The IGC were one of the big names that were being talked about, and they never confirmed one way or the other. But that was what was being circulated in November. Then we move into December. And again, I'll take you to an Esports Observer report here. And this is the main thrust of what I want to talk about, because I've told you in multiple videos, go back and look, that this was coming. This was on the table. And that is that the Overwatch League and the Call of Duty League teams, they want to basically discuss the valuation, the pricing of how much they have to pay, and in particular, that focus is on the Overwatch League. I know this from talking to multiple people involved in such deals. I'll just read you the report. It's fairly brief and to the point. The Overwatch League and Call of Duty League team owners are continuing to discuss with Activision Blizzard ways to improve their business model, and one idea that is being weighed is reducing the amount of money they owe to the video game maker, according to people familiar with the discussions. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick installed former Major League Baseball executive Tony Petitti into a senior role at the Activision Blizzard Esports division in late summer, and sources say Petitti has been immersed in frequent discussions with team owners about how to make their businesses work long long term. The talks are occurring because most teams remain unprofitable. The league's original event format has been greatly disrupted by the coronavirus pandemic, and some feel that Overwatch is proving to not be as culturally relevant a game in America as fellow Activision Blizzard title Call of Duty. Who could have saw that coming, guys? Who could have saw a game that's completely made whole cloth, that focuses on lore and other nonsense for people who are seemingly emotionally over-invested in video games in general? Who could have saw that not being culturally relevant? Probably the clue was when you saw Mr. Kaplan begging, "Oh, please put us in Smash. Please put Tracer in Smash." It's like, no one really gives a fuck. You can do 1,000,000 sponsorship deals. You can put all these people on Lego boxes and on the front of cereal boxes and any other stuff. Overwatch just simply hasn't taken in the way that something like Call of Duty has. That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you rolled the dice, you fucked up, but let's not pretend that Overwatch is this amazing culturally relevant happening. It's not. It's a game that has diminishing returns, less and less people interested in it, and seemingly Activision Blizzard themselves don't even give the existing player base content anymore because they're all fingers crossed hoping Overwatch 2 is going to save the day. Spoiler, it doesn't. But anyway, Overwatch League is a 20-team league, and the original 12 organizations reportedly bought in at a $20 million price for the inaugural season in 2018, while the 8 expansion franchises that came in a year later reportedly did so at an even higher number. CDL is a 12-team league currently that just finished its first season, and teams bought in at a $25 million rate. So remember, a lot of these groups that own these teams, they've double dipped. They've owned both. In fact, one of the things that they were heavily criticized for Activision Blizzard by these owners were that it was said that if you bought in on an Overwatch franchise, you weren't guaranteed to get a CDL franchise, although there was some talk of like, oh, we'll give you a discount, but also you wouldn't even necessarily have the same territory that your Overwatch franchise was from. It was just completely not thought out long term. They were waiting to see how Overwatch League did, make some tweaks, then ramp up the price for CDL by pretending Overwatch League was hugely successful, which of course it just hasn't been by any conceivable metric. Now, I'll also tell you a little bit about the particulars of the money and what's been going on behind the scenes. And that is that these owners for ages have been going, look, we paid $20 million, we're just hemorrhaging cash. You made us lease these venues, we can't use them. You made us have like studios in because you wanted to cut costs, so you got rid of your studio, because when we go live events, the shows are going to be done from the stadiums where the events are going to be played at. So Blizzard get to cut costs, but we don't as team owners. What the fuck is going on? When are we going to see some profit? When are we going to see a return? And then obviously coronavirus. They're like, well, now we're all fucked because we can't make any money on the live events. That was always going to be a punt anyway. So first off, Activision Blizzard actually worked with the owners to get them those small businesses loans, the PPP loans that we talked about, to sort of ease the financial burden. That was their first proposal, not, oh yeah, we'll give you some money or we'll do some things. No, like how can we get this money off the government? Then, while they still continue to hemorrhage cash, the pandemic continues to go from bad to worse in America and around the world in general. They've now said, okay, look, let's renegotiate how much you actually owe, because a lot of those deals were sort of staggered and to be paid at a later date, or to be paid in installments and deferred payments and things like this. Now, because the money hasn't, all the money rather, a lot did, not all the money has left hands, what they're looking to do is essentially say, look, we'll shave some off the costs. This is still going to be a token gesture, given how much money's been sunk into the Overwatch League and how much money people have lost trying to make this thing a success. But at least they're going to get something back. Now, for me, the optics of this particular story are terrible. There's no way of dressing this up positively, although I'm sure Activision Blizzard's friends in the media will certainly try. But there's no dressing up the fact that while the Call of Duty League that came after the fact and wasn't projected to be as big, has actually done well for itself, and the Overwatch League now is facing potential sales, people walking away from supporting the game competitively. It has no grassroots movement anymore. They barely even care themselves, Activision Blizzard, about having, local, regional tournaments, small tournaments, having an amateur scene. It's a bad joke. They've literally handled probably everything I can think of incorrectly in terms of how they've executed this league and in terms of where they've placed their priorities. And now the chickens are coming home to roost in the form of owners saying, you better shave off some of the cost or we're going to sell. It's an ultimatum at this point. And you can't really blame these team owners. I mean, look, I've said it many times. I think these VC-funded GMs, they all want it, especially in North America, they all want it easy. They want all of the benefits and all of the rewards, but they don't want to, take any of the risks, and it's never their money and all of this stuff. I'm full of criticism, but the one thing I won't criticize them for is their commitment to making the Overwatch League a success, because they've stuck with it for fucking all this time, and trust me, they have thrown money into a black hole. It is gone, and they have seen virtually no return for it whatsoever. And with diminishing viewership that I brought your attention to, and all this clamoring of trying to work with Nielsen so we can say it's better than what it is, Chinese viewership buoying it up when we all know Chinese numbers are complete bullshit in almost everything they do. I wish Activision Blizzard could just sort of be a little bit more honest. I know games developers can never be honest, because if you have to admit fallibility in their world, it all comes crashing down. But I wish they could just be a little bit honest about, we probably oversold it a little bit, and we should have tempered our expectations. And moving forward, we understand that Overwatch isn't going to be this big premier esport, and our franchise league isn't going to be one of the most watched out there. But we're going to commit to support it long term. We're going to commit to support our partners long term, and we're not going to do a Heroes of the Storm. And I think that's important. That's what people need to hear from Activision Blizzard. Not all this bluff and bluster about how the game is really doing well and it's all okay, and these negative headlines, it's all spin, and you can't trust the likes of Richard Lewis and all this. Instead of that, right, why not just, put your hands up and just say, it's not great, we're gonna scale back, but we are gonna commit to keeping the Overwatch League alive in some form for the next 2-3 years, so people can at least plan their futures. Orgs can plan, what players they recruit. Broadcasters can decide whether they want to stay in the game or whether they want to go start casting Valorant or other opportunities. Activision Blizzard, of course, have no interest in this, because as long as they keep stoking the fires, as long as they keep saying everything's fine over at Overwatch, look, it's all good, they can maybe dupe some more investors or sponsors to supporting something that is dying slowly. There's no other way of dressing it up. But anyway, I think it's good to see at least some sort of acknowledgement, even if not one they would have wanted to be made public by Activision Blizzard, that, yeah, we did sell you a bit of a lemon, and finally, all the people that said $20 million is a ridiculous valuation, finally we've all been vindicated by Activision Blizzard's own decisions. So there you go. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention so we can all have a sort of a chuckle. But one thing I won't be chuckling about is when that league does come crashing down, I need to see where everyone else is going to end up. So maybe that'll happen in 2021, more likely 2022. But keep following the channel. Throw a follow down below. Follow me on all this other stuff that's up there. And thanks for your constant support in 2020, and I'll continue to see you in 2021. Much love to you all. See you on the next video.